me as I rise from the flames like a phoenix, fresh and clean. I get mean and I mean it. Laser focused on my magnum opus. Hocus pocus, make the competition disappear. Let me introduce you to something you ain't used to. A blessing in disguise. I excuse you ahead of time. Speaking of time, I am ahead of mine. Cause I'm stuck in the wrong era, if that be the case. Allow me to speed up your brain in the meantime. In between time, I amaze even me.
All right, we are good to go. So
Okay.
I'll do a quick intro. Welcome everybody to another interview. We have actually someone who was not in actual TFU, but actually had a family member who was in TFU. So if you want to introduce yourself.
My name is Louise Cole, and my daughter is Stephanie.
And so I guess I'll ask a few questions if you don't mind first. I know you have some things you want to talk about. When did Stephanie first mention that she was in TFU, and like what were your first initial thoughts when?
Well, see, that's the thing. She, after college, she went to Uganda and worked in the Peace Corps. She, what a great thing to do after college, and she did 2 years there. Right after that, she came home, and we held both of her grandmothers died within 4 months of each other while she was still in the Peace Corps. So we held the celebration of life for her so that she could be a part of it. So she came home and we did that, and then she fell ill. She ended up with dengue fever, almost died. But right from recovering, she had gotten a job while she was still in Uganda. She got a job teaching English in Taiwan, and she was an exchange student in high school, and the exchange was with Taiwan. So she knew the country, she loved it, and she had a friend or two there, and so it seemed like the perfect fit. While she was there, after her first year there, she decided she was going to go to school and be a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. We were all thrilled. We were very happy for her. She's always been interested in that kind of stuff. And of course, in Taiwan, she had more exposure to it. So, that was great. And then, as time, and we talked all the time on Messenger and texting and Skype and, things like that. So, it wasn't on a daily basis, but often, and she would tell me what was going on, and at one point she was saying she needed money for classes, and so I'm thinking it had something to do with the doctor of traditional Chinese medicine,
Understandable.
She said at one point that she needed to do something with the language, some kind of language classes to learn to I think it's Mandarin maybe is what they spoke. And so I just assumed it had something to do with all that. And then as time went on, she started telling me in a very general way about this twin flame stuff and how there was somebody there in Taiwan that she was sure was her twin flame. And I didn't associate twin flame with a group.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? At the beginning, anyway. And then, we would always send her money when she needed it for these classes or whatever. And then she also traveled a lot, and we'd send her money for that too. And then all of a sudden, like out of the blue, she told us, "Oh, I'm not going to go to traditional Chinese medicine school. I'm going to do this instead." Again, she didn't go into great detail.
Very vague, kind of beating around the bush.
Yeah, Yeah. She talked about God a lot, which I thought was a good thing, you know, because I was born and raised Roman Catholic, strict Roman Catholic. I didn't raise my kids that way, but, you know, they are Catholic. And so I thought, you know, and I never wanted to push religion on them because it was pushed on me, and I didn't like that. Um, so when she started talking about God, I thought, oh, that's a good thing. And it just went from there, talking more about twin flames, but I only associated it with this guy that she really liked and was attracted to.
Gotcha.
I didn't realize it was an actual group, or as we now know, cult.
And I have a question, because I know you mentioned you guys had talked, like, and I know not like on a daily basis, but you guys talked regularly. So I guess for the people who would watch this, would you guys say that you were fairly close before she even started doing TFU?
Very. And she is an identical twin, and she and her identical twin talked almost on a regular basis, daily basis. She had actually come home for her twin's wedding and was stood up for her and everything was great. And then all of a sudden, boom, not so great. When she cut off her entire family, including her identical twin sister, we knew what it was. It was obvious what it was.
Now, I have a question. When she did cut you guys off, like, was it just complete, like shut off, like just stop talking to you guys in general, or was it like, hey, like, I'm not talking to you guys anymore, don't reach out to me?
A little bit of both. What happened was she had asked for money again to go to New York for a workshop kind of thing with this twin flame stuff. And again, I personally just I wasn't putting two and two together. I just thought, well, she's happy, she's doing well, she's very sure of herself. She says she's going to be rich and famous, and just watch, Mom, I'm going to make something of myself, and I'm going to have all kinds of money, and I'm going to be famous. People are going to pay me to speak to them. Excuse me. I have nobody to talk to, so I guess I'm getting overworked in my vocal cords.
No, you're good.
But anyway, so she said her job there in Taiwan had already ended, and she was figuring out her next steps. And she said, I really want to go to this workshop convention kind of thing in New York. I will be able to make my decision as to whether I move to New York or come home. So I was like, okay. So we gave her the money for that trip. So she went, and that was like the very last day or two of December into January. And it was only like, I'm not even sure at this point. It was only just a couple of days there.
Was that like was that 2019 or?
Yes,
okay.
19. And so she went, she came back, and she says, okay, everything's perfect. I found a soul family, and which I didn't understand. It's like, okay, as long as you're happy, honey. I don't know what that means, but okay. And she said, so I'm going to move to New York. And it's like, okay, I can handle that. It's better than Taiwan or Africa, much closer. I can go and see her in New York.
Yeah.
We can bring her home on occasion, so I was okay with that. But again, I beat myself up all the time because I didn't ask enough questions, you know. But in my defense, I always thought of her as having a good head on her shoulders and knowing, you know, having a direction and knowing what she's going to do. I always had faith in her decisions in her life.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I didn't have any reason to question, you know, I really didn't. But still, hindsight, and I think I should have asked more questions, and I didn't. And I hate myself for that, but it is what it is. Anyway, so we gave her the money to move, but she messaged me in Messenger like on a Monday, and she said, "Okay, I'm all set to go. I'm leaving on Wednesday." I'm like, "This Wednesday?" And she said, "Yeah." I mean, it was like instantaneous.
now, was that to move? Now, was that for the trip, or like the 2-day trip, or was that to actually move?
To move from Taiwan to New York. So it's like, okay, well, and at that time there was, I don't know, remember if it was called like something like the polar vortex or something, where back east, everything, there was so much ice and blizzards and snow, and a lot of planes were delayed or canceled. You know, the airports, they couldn't even fly. You know? So, being in Taiwan, it takes like 2 days or more sometimes, depending on the layovers. So I figured I'd hear something Friday morning. I heard nothing. Because I told her when she said, "I'm leaving Wednesday," I said, "Okay, let me know when you get there." So when I still hadn't heard anything by Friday morning, I started getting worried. So I picked up my device and pulled up Messenger and went to message her. And there's a little bar across the bottom of my screen that says, you can no longer message this contact or something like that.
Gotcha.
I'm like,
and I have a question. When she said she was moving, did she give any indication or any information? Kind of a lot of people who were TFU, they relocate and, you know, they go and stay with, you know, their supposed twin flame, et cetera, et cetera. Did she do any or did she let you know like who she was staying with, where she would be like any type of information?
She said she was going to stay with her soul family person. And she had made posts about it while she was there, so we knew who this person was. And you know, okay, she's got a place to live, and once she gets settled in her new job, and we really thought it was like a real job, you know, that everything would be fine, you know, start this new chapter in her life. But when I went to message her that Friday morning, and it said I couldn't say anything, and I was like, what? And then I'm thinking, okay, her phone got stolen, you know. So I contacted her twin sister, and I said, have you heard from Stephanie? Nope. And I said, well, I can't get a hold of her. So she said she was going to try. And while she was trying, I got on Facebook, found that soul family person.
Yeah.
And started, I left her a private message, and I said, you know, you don't know me, but I'm Stephanie's mom, and we're really worried about her. We haven't heard from her. You know, left this big, long message. And then while I'm waiting for a response, which I never got, by the way, I started scrolling through that person's Facebook.
Yeah.
And I went down a little bit, and I saw a picture of Stephanie at this person's house with a piece of pizza and a glass of wine or something, and says, look who's here. So it's like, okay, so she's there. She made it. She's okay. And then my other daughter got back to me, and then I got on Facebook to look at Stephanie's Facebook There was no Stephanie. Disappeared. You can't even search her name.
So she had blocked you.
Oh, yeah. So then I told my other daughter, and she came up with the same thing. And I said, oh my God, she joined a cult. Right then, I knew it was a cult.
Oh, man.
She cut off her entire family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, you name it, friends that she's had since elementary school. Everybody gone.
So anyone that so pretty much anyone that she associated with outside of TFU, she had pretty much deleted, blocked, or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
There was no communication whatsoever.
Correct. 100%, yes.
Okay, and I'm gonna mention this for those who are not familiar with the BITE model or how cults operate. So BITE stands for behavior, information, thought, and emotion control. One of the things that cults will do, and you can do your research, many cults have done this, is they will isolate a person, whether it be from their family, friends, even general society. So that way it's easier for them to control what they see, what they hear, alter what they think. And
Yes.
there's even, and I've been in the groups, I've seen this happen where they will literally spy on other members of the group and report that information to higher ups to try to manipulate the person or the group, like, okay, this person is either for the cause or they're not for the cause. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, TFU does have a watch list. They put people on the watch list for as simple as something, I think there was one where a person did not want to invest the thousands of dollars that it costs to sign up for like the programs, and they were put on a watch list because they were asking for support within the group, the free Facebook group, which is a forum for support and community to actually communicate with people who have the same somewhat beliefs as you, not all beliefs, but some of the beliefs that you have. And these people were put on a watch list because people kept directing them, aka the coaches or people who are higher up in TFU would persuade people, hey, you should just buy this course, or hey, you should meet up with a coach, and they're not doing so because they either don't have the funds or they don't want to. They just don't want to, and they're put on a watch list because of that. And that is a very cult-like thing that does happen in groups. So if you're not familiar with the BITE model or how cults operate, there's tons of videos out there. I'm going to end up doing stuff later on, but just FYI. But continue.
Well, I would like to say, of course, when we all got cut off and realized what she had gotten herself into, we as a whole family did a lot of research. So much so that we actually, not me, but one of her sisters found a video on YouTube of one of her coaching sessions. Oh my God.
Now, was the coaching session with Jeff, or was it her doing the coaching?
No, it was with her being coached by this other girl. I don't remember her name.
Okay, so a coach coaching her, pretty much.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. And I guess that was like right at the beginning when she first started into all this. And I'll tell you, I wished I would have known about this before everything blew up, because watching this video, I could see how that particular coach, and I know they all do it once they get going, they know how to do it. But my daughter's memories that she was talking about, this coach actually, you could see her twisting them. And then Stephanie's like, oh yeah, you're right. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, where did this come from?
Exactly.
Her memories are so, I have 4 children, 4. And none of them have the memories that she has. Why is that?
Yeah, and
she says there was abuse. It's like, what? There
Yeah,
was
like
no
they'll
abuse.
turn, yeah, like they'll turn something as simple as like just regular discipline. Like it's not even abuse. Like hey, you drew on the wall when your parents told you not to, and they spanked you on the butt. Now now it's abuse, and now you have trauma because they spanked you on the butt when you were like 3, and now this is why you have issues communicating. It's like, wait, what? I don't.
Well, this girl, Stephanie, was talking about a Christmas when she didn't get a car or a big trip. She got a special, very expensive calculator. And mind you, there were 2 of them, and they're not only 2 kids. There were 4 kids, but 2 twins in the same classes that needed the same equipment, and they were very expensive calculators. So they each got one for Christmas. And this coach is saying, "Oh, so you just didn't have the abundance that you deserve, and so you." And I'm like, "What? What is this bullshit?" And that's what it was. Literally
And I will say something
bullshit.
on that. Like, I'm one of 5. Like, my mom had 5 of us, and I'm actually a twin myself. So I am technically the middle child. And like my mom, like as a single parent, like we understood the concept of her not being able to get everything that we wanted. First of all, I mean, I think that's a good thing for kids to understand that you can't always have what you want, or you have to work to get what you want. Understand that concept, and I appreciate that because I work for what I want, and I don't have this entitlement personality
Mentality.
where it needs to be given to me because I want it. Like, so, but like my mom, like she worked like 2, and like at one point she had 3 jobs to support the 5 of us. So it's like we didn't get everything we wanted. Like she tried to get us what she could, but like
What you needed.
exactly, like if we don't need the new I'm gonna say I'm more recent now, but if we don't need the PlayStation 6, we're not getting the PlayStation 6. Like it's what we need is food, shelter, and clothes on our back.
Correct.
And
Correct. Exactly. But you know what? I gotta say, my kids, we didn't give them everything, but we gave them everything we could give them. I mean, I would use credit cards and take out loans for, like, Stephanie was in the Model UN thing in high school, and they were going to Mexico City for this Model UN thing. We didn't have the money to send her, but I made sure she could go. We did this Sister Cities exchange thing in high school for her. It was very expensive. We didn't have the money, but I made sure she could go. Paula was in orchestra or a band, and they did a band trip to Europe. We didn't have the money for her to go, but I made sure she could go. And so the things we as parents did without a lot so that we could give to our kids the things that were really important that we thought. I mean, they played instruments, they had lessons. Instruments aren't cheap, lessons aren't cheap. All these trips that these bands and orchestras go on, that's not free. But we did the best we could. We wanted them to be able to do the things that we couldn't do when we were kids.
exactly.
That all parents do that. But yeah, when I saw that video, and her siblings too, they're like, "What?" I mean, we all our jaws just hung open, and it's like, how can she be? I mean, you could see her twisting things, and Stephanie's like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah, and I've been like, so for those who don't know, I was in the live class that Stephanie was in. It was Wednesday class, I think, at 7 o'clock. And I have seen with like multiple people that they do take a scenario and they twist and they turn it. There was a guy who was in our group. I'm not gonna mention his name, but he identified as gay, and they took an experience within his life, and they with his I think it was with his mother, I think, and they twisted and turned it to the point where it was pretty much, it ended up being like, because of the experience and the experience that he had with his mother and how his relationship with his mother and his father was, um he couldn't relate to women, so that's why he was gay. And or that's why he identified himself as gay. And as soon as he quote unquote healed that part of himself, Jesus, take the wheel. All of a sudden, he was straight now. But the funny thing is, as soon as he left TFU, he went back to dating dudes. Like the dude was gay. Dude is gay. Like, but they tried to twist and turn, this experience to fit their narrative of, oh, okay, you're not gay, you're really straight, but you're having issues with women, so that's why you are more attracted to men. Like if you're attracted to men, you're attracted to men. If you're attracted to women, you're attracted okay, whatever. But yeah, just so people know that experience, and how the extremes, I guess, of what people will like, what this group will go to as far as like twisting and turning a memory to fit their narrative, so that way they can, either see, get that whole experience of, oh, see, you really are straight, or, there's that, you never are really gay or, bi or whatever. You just have issues like identifying your traumas, et cetera, et cetera. Like I think there was, I know I'm getting a little bit off topic, but there was a scenario. I don't think it was a scenario. I think Jeff and Shaleia had went on like a rampage or whatever, like their little going off topic and whatever, and they were talking about how no one is bi. Like they were like, they just have a hard time identifying if they are drawn to the masculine or the feminine, and they can, like, something along those lines, but they can't. It's like they see, like, if it's like, if like they're bi and like they're masculine, quote unquote, like they see the masculine in the same sex, so they're drawn to that, as well as the masculinity that they see in the opposite sex, and vice versa. I was just like, I can't, like, and that's why people identify as bi, because they're looking but they can't find what they want, type situation. It was just so awkward. I was just like, you can't call yourself LGBT plus friendly and make comments like this. Like, it's like, no. But yeah, off topic, but continue.
No, I totally get it. I mean, that's why I wanted to do this with you, because I have burning questions. These questions, I mean, I just have to get it out there. And I hope that maybe there's somebody that's still in the group that's watching this right now, and get them to think about these questions, to really think. And maybe they'll be enlightened and get to see what's really going on, because, they're all brainwashed, and almost anybody can be brainwashed if you do it correctly. And they're good at it. I got to give them that.
I will give them props. They are good at what they do.
Absolutely. But I can see there's more and more people that are opening their eyes, and people are leaving. And that's amazing. That's amazing. I hope people don't stay for the wrong reasons. I do know, again, we did a lot of research, mostly my daughters, but I got into it too because I have questions. And they found so much, there's so much out there that we found that we wished we would have found before it got to the point where she cut the whole family off. So
let me pause real quick just so I can save this file, and then I'll start back up again.